Hey everyone, it's Karen with 𝗬𝗶𝗁𝗀 PaperCrafts. In this video, I'm going to be creating a layout for PinkFresh Fridays, which is a YouTube hop hosted by my friend 𝗬𝗶𝗱𝗀. And each month we're joined by a bunch of other scrappy YouTubers to get together and create layouts using our PinkFresh Studio collections. So y'all be sure and go check out everyone else's videos that is participating in this month's hop, and I'll have links to their videos in the description below. Okay, so for my layout today, I'm going to be using this picture of my mom. This was taken on her wedding day when she got married to my stepdad. And I think I was about 14 at the time, so it was around 1975. So this picture is pretty old. But I think my mom looks so pretty in this picture. I love this picture so much. I just wish the quality of the picture was a little bit better, but you know, back then the cameras, they didn't really, it wasn't, unless it was a picture that you got at a professional studio. A lot of these pictures are kind of a lower resolution, but I was able to use my computer and I enhanced the picture as much as I could and then printed it out. I think that the picture turned out pretty good. And I think that this picture is probably my favorite picture that my mom had from her wedding. Okay, so I wanted to create a layout with this picture, and not too long ago I had created another layout with PinkFresh for my sister Jeannie's wedding. And for that layout, I used the PinkFresh Chrysanthemum collection. So I love the way that that layout turned out, and I'll try to see if I can put a picture up here of what that layout looks like so you can see it. But I thought that this picture right here would go really well with that collection too. And so this is the collection here from PinkFresh. It's called Chrysanthemum. It has the most gorgeous colors. It's pink, orange, yellow, and green, and then a little bit of like a navy blue. And I just love the color combination of this collection. Also, a lot of the embellishments and the different sentiments that were in this collection are perfect for a wedding. So I thought it was really a lot of fun to create that layout for my sister Jeannie. And so when I was thinking about what collection to use, I decided to go with this Chrysanthemum collection. Now, the one big challenge with using the PinkFresh Chrysanthemum collection is that there is no paper that is provided by PinkFresh as a part of the collection, which is really a shame because this is my favorite collection ever from PinkFresh. I really wish they would have come out with paper, but there's no 12 by 12 paper, there's no 6 by 6 paper. So I was going through looking at my other PinkFresh collections, and I did think about using this collection called Celebrate. This was a collaboration between PinkFresh and Altenew, and it does have some similar colors, but the colors are a little bit more muted. And as I was going through the different papers here, I didn't really feel like it suited the look and feel of a wedding picture. So they have some really large graphic elements and polka dots and just different things like this. So I didn't really think it suited that too much. But when I did create the layout for my sister Jeannie, this was the paper I used as my inspiration and my background. I love this paper. This is my favorite paper from this collection, but I don't want to use that paper again for this layout. So I got to thinking about what other paper I have, and I'm going to cheat a little bit, and I'm going to use some paper from the 𝗵𝗀𝗀𝗀. And the reason why I decided to do that was because 𝗵𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 came out with one of their monthly kits, and it had a bunch of the embellishments from the PinkFresh Chrysanthemum collection, and they coordinated it with some other different manufacturers, and all of the paper from that monthly kit came from the 𝗵𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀. It's 𝗵𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 exclusive paper, and I'm going to go ahead and show y'all that paper now. And so here is the paper from the 𝗵𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀, and this is from a collection called Harmony. And so as I was flipping through this paper, I fell in love with this one right here, and I'm going to use this as my background. So one of the things I loved about this paper was that it has, it's very neutral because it has, most of it is empty. It does have a little bit of design on either side. It has a mixed media feel to it, and it's not a solid color. It's got little black polka dots all over it. So let me go ahead and see if I can hold this up so you can see. It's got a bunch of different polka dots and then just different mixed media look to it. And when I put my picture on top of this paper, I just really felt like this paper suited the picture so much more than any of the papers that I had from the Celebrate collection. Okay, so we're going to go with this paper as our background. Now, I wasn't really sure about the design for my layout, and one of the things I like to do is to go look at other people's layouts and just get inspiration. So I went looking at my friend Joanne's Instagram account. And the reason why I chose Joanne as my inspiration is because, well, one, she creates the most gorgeous layouts, but two, she does a lot of paper tearing, and I thought that it would be fun to do some paper tearing for this layout. And so I went through a bunch of her layouts to find one that had paper tearing, and I'll put a picture of the layout that I'm going to use as my inspiration up here on the screen so y'all can see it. And so my idea for this layout is to use part of the paper as the background, and I'm going to fill it in with probably just some scrap paper, and then I'm going to tear some paper and add it along the side here. And I think that's going to be the design. I think that would be really cool. And I wanted to save some of this paper though, because I like the back of the paper. And also the other thing was, I thought that no matter which side of this paper I use, I'm going to be covering up either this part of the graphic or these flowers. And so I thought if I cut this off, I could actually use that and tear into the paper and use it as one of my layers in the paper tearing that I'm going to do. Okay, so we're going to use this as a background. And then I'm going to go through and look at some of the other paper here to see, I'm thinking maybe I'll do 3 or 4 strips of paper over here in different widths. And we'll do some paper tearing. And so I'm just going to go ahead and I think this paper would be really pretty. Although it doesn't, the florals are a little bit more muted in this paper here. But this is the paper from the Harmony collection. Some of it doesn't really suit this layout at all. I don't really want to use blue. I want to primarily use the colors that are part of the Chrysanthemum collection. So I could use this paper here, which is a floral that has the black and white. And then we have this one here with the polka dots. But I think if I would use the black and white floral, I wouldn't use this polka dot paper. And also this polka dot paper, it's a bigger polka dot, but it's very similar to the background. So I think that pretty much eliminates this one. But I could use this side here. And then this yellow paper is really pretty. And I could do something like this. And I like the look of those 3 papers together. And when you're choosing papers like this, I think the most important thing is to just, you know, put the papers together how you would lay them out on your layout, and just kind of get a feel for whether or not you think it would work or not. And you can see here, this is kind of clashing with that paper, so that eliminates this one. This yellow, it has more of a mustard tone to it, so I'm going to eliminate that one. The butterfly paper is pretty, but I don't think it really adds anything for this layout, although I could cut out some of these butterflies doing some fussy cutting. And then this paper on the back, it doesn't suit the look and feel of my layout. It's kind of a geometric print, and the color doesn't really go too well. Okay, then we have this really strong pattern that's a floral that has a lot of black in it, and that would be really pretty. On the back of it is a pink. So I could potentially use the floral. And I think I'm liking this combination. This paper is a little bit too close to my background. You can see here it's kind of competing, I think, with the background. I don't really have a lot of contrast here, so I think we're going to eliminate this one. So now we have these 3 papers here. Okay, so this is a black and white stripe. It looks kind of like zebra. I don't think that would really suit my picture. And on this side we have a bunch of tags. This paper has a lot of purple, or it is purple, so we're not going to use that one. And then on this one we have this paper here, which could possibly work. And that's really pretty. Kind of like this one because it tones it down a little bit. We don't have as much of that strong yellow. You can see here. Especially since this yellow is really not in this paper. This paper here has more of a lighter yellow, and this is more of a gold. Although this gold matches the gold in this background. So I'm not 100% sold on this floral paper, but we'll see. And then the last paper I have here is this polka dot. This really doesn't suit the look and feel either. The back of this one has this green, and potentially that can work. Although this green is has a lot more yellow in the green than the paper here has. So I don't know that that really goes. And also the style of this paper is kind of grunge looking, and I don't think that really adds a whole lot to my layout either. So that's going to limit us to these 4 papers here. And if I was going to use this paper here, I would definitely probably use the part that has the pink, because I think that this part over here is too similar to the background. Okay, so let's see if I could decide here. Okay, so laying the picture here on top, I want to get a sense of what really would coordinate better with the picture and go with the look and feel. And when I say look and feel, what I'm meaning, and when I say look and feel, and when I say look and feel, what I'm talking about there is actually the style of the paper and whether or not it would go with the style of the layout. So a lot of times when you're picking paper out, let me see if I can give you all an example. If we had, say for instance, these 2 papers, the style of this floral is a lot different than this one. This is a much bigger graphic. The outline is much bigger, and it just looks more contemporary. And then when you look at this floral, it looks more traditional. It's a little bit daintier looking and more feminine. And so it's really, even though it's from the same collection, the style of these 2 papers is totally different. And you can get that even. And then if you look at a paper like this one, even though this is from the same collection, I think the style of this paper is even more contemporary. It's more abstract looking. And I don't think it goes with either one of these papers. So, but that's just me. I'm really matchy-matchy. I like things to coordinate and go together. So it's hard for me sometimes to use things like this where it's such a different style to the paper. Although I might use it as a layer behind something where you wouldn't really see a lot of the pattern. So sometimes that works, especially if I just wanted to see like the pink around the edge and you were just matting a picture. Then maybe it's okay to use 2 different styles of paper. But most of the time I like to make sure that I coordinate all of the papers that I'm using so that they all have a similar style and they all have a similar feel. So when I'm saying look and feel, that's kind of what I'm going for there. So as I'm looking through these papers, the one paper that really stands out to me that doesn't seem like it wants to go is this paper here. Although the colors match really well, the style of the paper doesn't really go with all the other papers. At least it doesn't go as well as the other papers that I have here. So I'm going to eliminate that one. And then if we look at the ones that are remaining, and I put the picture here, the other paper that really stands out to me is this dark yellow paper. So if I eliminate that paper, you can see how much these 3 papers really coordinate well with the picture. I think it enhances the picture, and I think it's going to suit the look and feel of this layout. Okay, so now that I've picked out the paper that I'm going to use for my layout, so I'm going to go ahead and do some paper tearing and creating the background and matting the picture, and then I'll come back and we can do some embellishments. Okay, so my background is almost finished. I did some paper tearing, and I'll bring this up closer so y'all can see the paper tearing that I did. And this paper had a white core, so it's really cool when you tear it. You can see kind of the ripped edges, which makes a really cool effect. And I did leave this side straight over here. I had to kind of play around a little bit with these strips of paper because I made a little bit of a mistake when I was cutting this paper in half. I probably should have made this paper maybe to about right here. And I didn't, so I ended up changing this up a little bit, and so I ended up using a larger piece here. This is that floral with the black background, and I layered this piece right here. This was a strip of paper that I cut from this background paper, and I layered that on top, and I left this edge straight, and my plan is going to be to use some washi tape. So I had to kind of play around with this to make it look right. If I put this paper over here, then this strip was way too big, and I wanted it to have an effect of having smaller strips of paper. But I love the way it turned out. Sometimes when you make a mistake, it turns into a good thing. And one of the other things I did change though was I was going to use this paper that had it was pink and it had lines going through it, which was this paper here. And I didn't really care for how that looked. I think if the lines would have been going in this direction, it would have been a little bit better. But when I was layering this behind the other papers, I just really didn't like the effect of it. So I decided to eliminate that paper. And then I used this pink paper, which I think was the reverse side of this paper. So this is just another strip of this paper, just the other side. And I think that really turned out pretty. So for the photo mat, I used one of the pattern papers that was also from the 𝗃𝗵𝗀𝗃𝗀𝗃. It was the paper that had a lot of mixed media, but it had a lot of white and then pink and just like spots on it. And then a black cardstock, and then another bit of that paper. This is the same paper, just different parts of that paper. And the part that I used for the bigger part of the mat, it actually has some florals that are in the black. And I just think that's really cool, and it makes that photo pop more away from the background. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish up the background. I'm gonna pull in some washi tape, and I was thinking about using a black washi tape or gold, or maybe a combination of the two, because I'm gonna use one of the word quotes from this sticker set. It's Puffy stickers. I don't know what collection this is from. I don't put the collection names, but the name of it is Honey. And I think what I'm going to do here is put this picture kind of closer to the top, and then we're going to put special, and then I'm going to use the word day. So we're going to put that underneath the picture, and that's going to be the title. And because I'm using gold, I thought it would be really cool to add more gold just to tie everything together. And so I pulled out these two washi tapes from my black washi tape. These were the only two washis that I had that had gold. It was a black and gold. So I have this one with the hearts and then this one with the pattern. And I think if I did the heart one, it would make the hearts go sideways. So I think maybe that might not be a good choice, but I think this one would work really well. This is a really pretty, I've actually used this a bunch of times, and getting to where it's almost used up, which is going to be sad, because this is a really cool washi tape. It's thin, it's a really good color combination, and it just is a perfect accent. So I'm going to be sad when that one's used up. But let's go ahead and pick out one of these other washi tapes here to kind of combine it together. And I'm thinking maybe this one with the hearts, because this is a wedding layout. I think the hearts would be good. In this particular washi tape, the hearts are going in this direction. I think that works a little bit better than this washi tape where the hearts are going in that direction, which, since I'm going to be using this vertically, it doesn't really work so well. Okay, so let's go ahead and add this washi tape. And I think what I'm going to do is, because this paper has black in it, I think I want to put the gold first, and then I'll put the black next to it. So let's go ahead and draw this out. And I want to make sure I have the hearts going in the right direction. So I'm just going to add that here and line it up with the edge of that paper. And I'm just going to make that a little bit longer, and I'm going to wrap it around the back. But before I do that, I'm just going to take this other washi, if I can find the end of it, I'm going to add this one on. Okay, I'm just going to take this one and lay it down next to the one with the gold heart washi. Okay, and I think that looks really pretty. So now I'm just going to flip this upside down and just fold that over. And a lot of times I'll probably come back later and just add some Scotch tape to the back, because a lot of times this washi tape is not very sticky. It'll start peeling up. So I'll just take some just regular Scotch tape and tape over that to protect that from coming off of the layout. And I just love how that looks. Let me bring this up so y'all can see. It adds just a little bit more elegance to the layout and just a little bit more gold, which is super cool because I'm going to be putting on the title that has gold. Okay, so for the embellishments, I went through the ephemera and I picked out some ephemera here, and I'm going to add in some of this orange, although this color, it's not really represented in the background as much. It's still a complementary color, and it's one of the predominant colors in this collection from PinkFresh, the Chrysanthemum. So I took a frame. This is a frame that I have right here, and I just cut that in half. I'm going to use one side on this side of the photo and the other on this side of the photo up here, just to kind of have the color going on both sides of the picture. We have this flower here, which is a chrysanthemum. I'm just going to add that. And then I have this saying that says the happiest day ever. I'm going to put it somewhere around there. And then on this side, I'm going to add some flowers. And I think that is really cool. It kind of creates this triangle around the picture. And then I think I want to add a little bit of a cluster up here. So I got this piece here that kind of looks like a ticket, and it's got a flower on it. And then I have some other flowers here. So I'm probably going to do something like that up at the corner. Isn't that pretty? I love how this layout is turning out. Okay, so let's see. I want to try to figure out how I'm going to put the title on here. And the title is kind of a scary thing to put on there when it's sticky. It's puffy alphas and they're sticky. So I think what I'm going to do, because I almost always end up putting it in the wrong place and running out of space, because this title is going to go towards the bottom of the layout, I'm going to start with the word day. And I'm going to try to figure out the best place for this. And this might be a little bit of a challenge to fit on here. So I need to either figure out if I'm going to put it across special day. I'm going to put this special and then the day under it. I don't know if I'm going to have room to do that, but let's go ahead and take this word off as well. Okay, so it took me a minute to get that off of the off of that backing. I think I'm going to push this up as far as I can make it go. That's why I haven't stuck the picture down yet. I need to figure out where this title is going to go. I could go across, but then it's going across this black here. So I'm thinking I'm just going to do something like this. So I think I'm going to start with putting this word day down. And I want to have a little bit of space on either side. So I'm just going to stick that right there. That's going to be my starting position. And then I'll position everything else on the layout based on this word day. I don't know how many times I've tried to put a title on the layout, started from the top going down and run off the page. So I think this works out much better. And I think this is going to overlap the picture a little bit. So before I stick this word down, I think I'm going to go ahead and adhere the picture. Okay, so I think I finally have the title positioned. It was a little bit of a challenge getting that on there and making it look right. Partly because I really would like to have tucked the day kind of in this space right here. I don't know why Bella was fussing at 𝗬𝗵𝗱𝗀, but my two dogs over there were having a little bit of a fight. But it would have been nice to tuck the word day here, but because the D is sticking up, I wasn't really able to do that. But I really think that that's pretty. And I like how the gold is also over here with the washi tape. Okay, so let me go ahead and work on putting these embellishments on. I'm probably going to pop some things up with some foam tape. Might add in some of these gold hearts as accents. Okay, so I'll work on the embellishments and then I'll come back and show you the finished layout. Okay, so I finished adding in all of the embellishments for this layout, and I thought I would spend a few minutes talking a little bit about design and how you can use color to balance your layout and to draw your focus in towards the picture. So for this particular layout, I have clusters on either side of the picture, and then I have this one embellishment up here at the top of the picture, and then we have a little smaller cluster over here in this corner. And so when you're looking at this, your eye is immediately drawn in toward the picture because we have this really strong orange color here at the top of the picture and here on either side in these two clusters. It creates this effect of making your eye go in toward the picture. And you can see that repeated here. We have this kind of an olive green color, and that olive green color I have in 3 places on this layout. And this also is kind of a triangle, but it's kind of a longer, skinnier triangle, but it's still drawing your eye around the layout. So when you're balancing things, there's a couple of different ways that you can add balance to a layout. And if something looks wrong, it could just be maybe you need to add that color somewhere onto your layout. So when you're balancing, if something looks off balance, for instance, if I didn't have this orange up here at the top, then things might look a little bit different, and your eye is not going to move the same way on the page as if I have this orange color up here. So if you're looking at your layout and you think that something looks a little bit off, there's a couple of different things you can look for. One is color. Another is the intensity of the color, light and dark. So you're trying to add balance and draw your eye in toward whatever the focal point is on your layout, which in my case, most of the time, it's going to be the picture. Okay, another way that I added balance to this layout is by using gold. So here we have this gold washi tape over here on the side. So I made sure to add more gold to the layout. So I have a gold heart over here. We have the gold title at the bottom. I have this gold leaf up here in this cluster, and then we have another gold heart over here. You'll also see that the color black is represented over here on this side of the layout. It makes it really, really heavy, but then that is offset by the picture, which I had backed with the black cardstock. So even though this side of the layout is heavier than this side of the layout, and when I'm saying heavier, I'm talking about the color. The color black is much heavier visually when you look at it than the color white. So you can balance things with the intensity of the color as well as the color itself. So here we have these really dark element on this side of the layout. And over here, if I would not have backed the picture with this black, this would have looked off balance. I would have had most of the intensity of color on this side of the layout. And over here, I would have just had, I wouldn't have had any of that black. So by matting the picture with the black, that helps to make sure that the picture stays the focus and the focal point of the layout. Okay, so I want to just remind everyone to please go and check out everyone else's videos that is participating in this YouTube hop, and I have links to their videos in the description below. And if you like this video and you like seeing this scrapbook process, please give this video a thumbs up. It helps me to know what videos y'all like to see on my channel. It also helps YouTube to know what videos to recommend to other viewers. And if you're not already subscribed and you would like to see more videos, please subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you join my community. Okay, you guys, that's all I have for this video. I hope y'all have an awesome weekend, and I hope to see you next time. Bye now.